Dear students, I welcome you all to this class. In this class, we are going to study about photobioreactor. Most of you might have heard the word bioreactor. So, bioreactor is nothing but it is a kind of vessel which is being used for culturing the microorganism for towards the production of valuable products. So here one prefix added to this bioreactor, that is photo. So in this bioreactor we are rearing the organism that require light for its growth. That organism is none other than phytoplanktons or microalgae. So here the word photobioreactor, it is a kind of culturing vessel which is used for the culture of phytoplanktons in commercial scale. Algae range from small single cell to multicellular organism, some with fairly complex and differentiated form. So in the first class, I explained to you about the morphology of the phytoplanktons. So the microalgae are not a single type of a single morphologically related organism. There are single cell in that microalgae. Filamentous microalgae are also there. Then multicellular microalgae like seaweeds are also there. So they are complex in their morphology. Start from single cell chlamydomonas, then coming to the spirulina, spiral shape, spirulina, then coming to the multicellular organism like seaweed, like the seaweeds that we are using for producing the agar-agar. So these are all the different forms of algae. Algae are usually found in damp places. As we all know that the microalgae are mainly seen in the damp places or the wetted area because they require water. Mainly they are living in the water body, but in some cases they are even grow on the wetted surfaces. This is the reason why we are seeing the green color on the walls or the fences during the rainy season. So during the rainy season, the rainwater wets the wall or the fences where the spores of the microalgae falls. Then it germinate and grow in that wetted area. So after some days, that entire area will be looking green in color. This is only because of the growth of microalgae. So apart from the microalgae, they are living in the water bodies like ponds, rivers and other such type of ecosystem. They are also commonly seen in the terrestrial habitat, like as I mentioned it already, on the walls, then other environment on the parks of the trees. These are all the places where the microalgae grows during the rainy season only. Algae contains protein, carbohydrate, lipids, nucleic acids. So as the other higher organism has, the microalgae also consists of protein, carbohydrate and lipid, then nucleic acid. So the protein, lipid and carbohydrate are the primary metabolites. So they are mainly synthesized by the microalgae for its own purpose. And here the nucleic acid, they are functioning as the carrier of their genetic information from one generation to the next generation. So here the protein synthesized by the microalgae is used for building their body. So they are the building, they are mainly used for the development of cells. And the carbohydrate, which are synthesized by the microalgae because they are the phototrophic organism, they are the they are autotrophic. They can synthesize their own food material with the help of the sunlight. So that with the help of the sunlight, they can synthesize and store their food material like carbohydrate. So the carbohydrate, they can synthesize carbohydrate, they can synthesize protein, they can synthesize lipid. The lipids are mainly present on the cell membrane of the algae. So these are all the general view about the microalgae. Now we have come to the culture system. So our main purpose is to see the culture system of the microalgae. Here already we saw in general about the different types of culture system of microalgae: open culture system, closed culture system, then commercial culture system, then batch culture system, continuous culture systems. So these are the culture system. We have seen them already. So in this class, we are mainly going to give emphasis only for the closed culture system, that is photobioreactors. So most of you may be knowing that what is closed culture system and what is open culture system and what are continuous culture system and what are batch culture system. So here we are going to see about the closed continuous culture system. Here the culture system is generally divided into two types. The culture is of two types. One is open system and another one is closed system. Why we call them as a open system? Since we are doing the culture towards the open environment, we are growing the culture in an open type of containers like rectangular tanks. So that tanks you may have seen that in our laboratory, plant and culture laboratory in CMST. We have different numbers of so many numbers of rectangular tank which have been placed in the aquaculture laboratory. So that is the example for open system. Since the culture vessel is open towards the environment or it is exposed towards the environment, that type of culture system is called open type of culture system or open system. Apart from this, another type of culture system is also there, that is called closed system. Since the culture is completely, the culture system is completely closed without any exposure towards the environment. Since the culture is completely closed where the phytoplanktons are rearing, that is called closed system. This closed system is otherwise called photobioreactors. Already I explained you there are two types of culture system. One is batch culture system and another one is continuous culture system. We call it as a batch culture system because we are doing the inoculation in different batches and do the harvest also in different batches. That's why we call those type of culture system as a batch culture system. But here in the case of continuous culture system, there is no intermittent harvest and no intermittent addition of inoculum. Once the beginning of the culture, we add the inoculum and the nutrient, then the culture will be going on for days together, even weeks together and even months together, unless it meets any problem with the contamination. So that type of culture system is called closed type of culture system or closed system. It is otherwise called photobioreactors. If anybody asks what is photobioreactors, so what will be your answer? It is a kind of culture system which is mainly used for the culture of commercially valuable phytoplanktons or microalgae. It is a closed type of system because it doesn't have any communication or exposure or direct contact with the environment. This is the definition for photobioreactor, or it is otherwise called, it is a closed system of culture of phytoplanktons. As we all know that there are two systems of phytoplankton culture. One is open system and another one is closed system. So here we see what is open system. The culture suspension, which contains all necessary nutrient and carbon dioxide, is pumped around the cycle, being directly illuminated from sunlight. So as I explained it already, we call a particular system as a open type of culture system. It has direct contact with the environment so that it gets the illumination directly from the sunlight. Then this construction principle is the simplest way of production for phototropic organism. So the construction is very simple. Here you see these are the tanks. This is the tanks. You can see this is the it is one tank. It is the second tank. So these are all the different type tanks. So where you are growing the phytoplanktons or microalgae. Here the petal type of aerators are used to stir the water or to aerate the water. It's a very simple structure, but having direct contact with the atmosphere. During the heavy sun or if a scorching sun comes, it receives a lot of heat. And if the environment is cloudy, it cannot get any light. The intensity of the light it receives will be very low. So this construction principle is the simplest way of production for the phototropic organism. So this is the very simplest way of culturing of the phytoplanktons. Due to their depth, the depth is up to 0.3 meter. So we cannot increase the depth, because if we increase the depth, the algal cells which are seen in the bottom of the open culture system, they cannot get the light for its growth. So in this type of raceway, it is otherwise called raceway type of culture system, because the microalgae which are growing in this the system will be circulating. So here they have fixed. Here they will fix a pedal wheel aerator. That aerator will send this water towards this side. Then here there will be one pedal wheel aerator that send the water towards this direction, so that the water will be circulating all the times in this type of system. Open system only reach limited biomass productivity rates. This is one of the you can consider this as one of the disadvantages of using open type of culture system. So many disadvantages are there, but it is one among them. Open system only reach limited biomass productivity rate, because they are always getting the bad effect of the environment. They are directly affected by the environment. If the sun is very hot or during the scorch season, it receives huge intensity of light, and the temperature will also be high. So the temperature that we call it as optimum temperature will be going beyond that. See for example, for a particular microalgae, its optimum temperature is 30 plus or minus 2. But the temperature, if it goes beyond 35, then what happens? The metabolic activity will be normally coming down, so that the growth will not be there. And in some days, that day may be a cloudy day. Its required light may not be available for its growth. So the microalgae may be requiring some intensity of light. That intensity of the light may not be available in that day during the cloudy day. So in that day also the growth will be not sufficient. The growth will be very low. So the system only reaches a limited biomass productivity rate. So in this type of culture system, which depends only upon the environmental factors, no factors required by this microalgae for its better growth is in our control. So the growth rate will be, or the production rate will be very minimum in this type of culture system. But we perform this type of culture system because it is very cheap, and the technology is also very simple. The cost is also very simple. The technical expertise is also very limited. This is the reason why we are preferring this type of culture system in aquaculture catcheries, mainly the shrimp catcheries and other related areas. Open technologies causes high losses of water due to the evaporation in the atmosphere. Since we all know that since this system is exposed towards the environment, it is open to the environment, it is liable for always getting the light on it. So when during the daytime the entire sunlight will be falling on it, so that the evaporation rate will be very high. When the evaporation is high, automatically the salinity will be increasing, so that it loses most of the waters which we have stored in the first time during evaporation. So it is the open technology causes high losses of water due to the evaporation into the atmosphere because of its open type of culture. Now we see closed system, that is otherwise called a photobioreactor. A closed equipment which provides a controlled environment and enables high productivity of algae. So it is a closed equipment which provides a controlled environment. Here all the physicochemical factors are in our control. In the previous case, that is in the open type of culture system, nothing is in our control. Even the temperature, intensity of the light, availability of the oxygen, availability of the carbon dioxide, availability of the nutrition is only in our control because we are only adding the nutrition. So here, the closed type of equipment which provides a controlled environment. Here the full environment is controlled and enables high productivity of the algae. In the previous case, we cannot expect that much productivity because it is not all the controlling systems are not in our hand. But here, all the controlling system, that is the factors which are needed to the microalgae to grow in high density will be in our hand. So if you want to increase one factor, we can increase, or if you want to decrease the other factor, we can decrease. And whatever, after studying the microalgae, whatever its optimal condition, then we can provide that optimum condition where the growth of the cell or the productivity of the algae will be very high. As it is a closed system, all growth requirements of the algae are introduced in the system and controlled according to the requirement. So before introducing a particular algae into the closed type of culture system or photobioreactors, we study its optimum characters. So the optimum light intensity, optimum carbon dioxide concentration, optimum oxygen level, then optimum nitrogen, optimum phosphate, optimum silicates. So these are all the parameters which we study before introducing a particular type of particular species of algae into this photobioreactors. So now we know all its optimum parameters. Once then we can provide all its optimum parameters so that we can get a good growth or good productivity in this type of culture system. Closed construction avoids system related water loss and risk of contamination. Since this construction is a closed type, we can reduce the water loss. In the previous case, that is in the open type of culture system, it is open to the environment. So that it is always the evaporation will be maximum in those type of open system. Here it is completely closed and all the parameters are our control. We can very well minimize the water evaporation from the system. Since this culture system is a closed type of culture system, it doesn't have any contact with the external environment. The contamination comes from the external environment will be very less since it is a closed type of culture system. So if there is a possibility of the external factors to enter inside, then only the contamination will be taking place. The contaminant may be a bacteria or maybe a algae of the other species or maybe a protozoan. So they may be coming along with the air. So in the air it has dust particle. On the dust particle, the spores of the algae, the spores of the eggs of the protozoans, then the bacteria, then the fungi, all will be attaching on the dust particle which are suspended in the air. So when it is a open culture system, there is a possibility of the air will always be having contact with the surface of the water. So that all the time the spores, then fungal filaments, then protozoan eggs, then the spores of the other algae, they will be always falling into this open type of culture system. But if it, but it is a, but here in the case of photobioreactor, since it is a closed type of culture system, apart from reducing the water loss, it minimizes the contamination coming from the air or from the atmosphere. A bioreactor is an installation for a production of microorganism outside their natural but inside an artificial environment. So here we are maintaining its optimum factors when they are living in the outside. But we are creating a inside artificial environment. So here is the artificial environment which are required for the microalgae when they are happen to live in outside. The same parameters that is already optimized or that algae which are required for its maximum growth and production will be given in this photobioreactors. So that's why it is said a photobioreactor or a bioreactor is an installation for the production of microorganism outside their natural environment. So there is no contact between its environment and the organism. So it is completely closed. But here we are maintaining its natural environment which gives the maximum growth and production for this microalgae. Now we come to the history of photobioreactors when it was discovered. Who discovered that? So it was established in Spain in the year 1980. The prefix photo particularly describe the bioreactor's property to cultivate phototropic microorganisms or organisms which grow on by utilizing the light energy. I already explained it in the beginning of this lecture. What does this prefix photo mean? So the prefix, the photo means it is a type of bioreactor where the organism living are attracting towards light. They need light for its growth. So that's why the name photobioreactor is given. These organisms use the process of photosynthesis to build their own biomass from light and carbon dioxide. So as we all know that, what is photosynthesis? What are autotrophic organisms? Why we call them as autotrophic organism? Then what are its requirements to perform photosynthesis? For doing photosynthesis, or in other words, if we tell for the production of its food material, they require both light and carbon dioxide. You all know that what is the need of carbon dioxide in photosynthesis and what is the need of light in photosynthesis and what is the need of water in photosynthesis. Photobioreactor, it is abbreviated as PBR, is a controlled supply of specific environmental condition for respective species. So here we are supplying only the specific controlled environment. That control environment we select by optimizing a particular species for its physicochemical characters. Before taking a particular species into the photobioreactors, we have to standardize all its physicochemical parameters. So we have to find the optimum physicochemical parameters before introducing them into the photobioreactor. If you would have found out the required specific physiochemical parameters or its optimum physiochemical parameters, then only we can fix all its physiochemical parameters in steady state while doing the culture in photobioreactor. Photobioreactor always much higher growth rate and purity level than anywhere in natural or habitats similar to that nature. So we all know that when it is growing in the open typical system or when it is naturally growing in the pond, then there will be a possibility of contamination. So the photobioreactors allow much higher growth rate because in the photobioreactor we are providing them all its optimal parameters in a fixed range. So it never fluctuates. But in the environment, even when they are growing in the environment, their optimum parameters required for the maximum growth and production may not be available constantly. So some days the light will be maximum so that the intensity of the light harvested by the algae will be maximum. That light may not be needed for the microalgae for its better growth. Sometimes the oxygen may be deficient only in the water because if the light is not there, then the photosynthesis will be less than the respiration, so that the availability of the carbon dioxide, oxygen may not be there. Sometimes the photosynthesis will be there, the oxygen will be maximum, but the carbon dioxide may not be available there. So like that, when the same algae, when it is growing in its natural environment, its production will be very less when compared with the same algae that we are growing in the photobioreactors. So the photobioreactors allows much higher growth rate and purity level than anywhere in natural or habitat similar to nature. See, you assume this photobioreactor as not a single instrument. It has so many accessories. There is one main system, then subsidiary system or subsystems are there. So this subsidiary or subsystem which support the main system, that is photobioreactors, to function well. Without this subsystem or subsidiary system, the system cannot function. It is like our system. We have different system in our body, like a respiratory system, then a digestive system. So the digestive system, the main components in the digestive system is the stomach and intestine. So apart from this, it has different subsystem like blood capillaries, then different enzymes, then different type of other parts which are having contact with this digestive system, then the kidney, then other type of excretory system. So these are all the subsystem towards the main system of our body, that is digestive system. In the same way, main system means photobioreactors. This main system has its subsidiary or subsystem for its better function. So these are all the systems that controls the activity of the main photobioreactor, the main system. Now we see the subsystem one by one. First is the light system. So as we all know that the prime requirement for this photobioreactor is a light. That's why it earned this name, photobioreactors. Without photon or without light, this system cannot function. So the light system is the major system. So wherever you are keeping the bioreactor, there should be a light source, there should be a control light source, the intensity of the light should be optimum. So there is another one system, within system must be there for supplying light, that is light system. It is one of the systems in subsystem of photobioreactor. The second is optical transmission system. So here the light seen in the light source will be taken into the system. That is the optical transmission system. So that will transmit the light from one place to the other. That is, the light which is present in the light source will be taken into the internal culture system, main system, that is the optical transmission system. And the third system is air handling and gas exchange system. So here this system, which is even though present apart from this main system, they control all air handling, which means supply of oxygen, removal of oxygen, and supply of carbon dioxide, and mixing of carbon dioxide with this nutrient, with the culture media. So then the gases exchange, that is if carbon dioxide is maximum is accumulated maximum in the system, it will be exchanged, then the oxygen will be supplied from outside. So the air handling system and gas exchange system is also a separate entity apart from the main system, where it supplies air and which also function for the exchange of gases. And the fourth subsystem is mixing system. So it is also a separate entity present apart from the main system, but it receives the culture from the main system and mixes it. See, since this culture, we all know that it is a continuous culture system. Since it is a continuous culture system, the culture will be going on even years together. But then and there we perform harvest. When we are doing harvest, we use nutrient, then replenish with water. So this mixing system plays major role in mixing the nutrient with the water and other culture, so that the concentration of the nutrient and the concentration of the suspended algal cells will be equally distributed throughout the culture system. So this is the function of the mixing system. And another type of subsystem is nutrient system. This is the system which supply nutrient to the main system. As we all know that the system is a continuous culture system, and we are harvesting the microalgae as and when we require. There should be a supply of nutrient. If there is if the supply of nutrient is not there, then we cannot get a constant growth. So once the nutrient is deficient, then it crosses its phases, like first start with the lag phase, then it goes to the log phase, then it goes to the stationary phase, and finally it comes to the death phase. So unless we are providing it sufficient nutrient all the time when it requires, there will not be sufficient growth and the growth will be coming down. So there is a need for a system which supplies nutrient all the times into the main system, that is photobioreactor, main system. Another subsystem is instrumentation system. So this instrumentation system consists of different types of instruments. That instrument may be a water pumping motor, or maybe some other what we call the compressor, which supply the compressed air. So these are all the instrumentation system, even to control the current which are being supplied to the instruments that are functioning in the subsystem or in the main system. So that is the function of the instrumentation system, which is also coming under one of the subsystems. The final subsystem is the electrical system. So these are all being controlled by a system, that is a computer. All these are controlled by a computer based controlling system. That's why it requires electricity. So the prime factor is the electricity. Without electricity, we cannot run this type of photobioreactors. So the electrical system, that electricity may be coming from batteries, or may be coming from a generator, or maybe a hydroelectric source. So whatever the source may be, there should be an electric system. So that electric system is very obligatory for the functioning of all other systems. So far we have been seeing about the subsystem. Now we are seeing subcomponent. So they are the components in the main system. They are the subsystem is different from the main system, but subcomponents are the components which are present in the main system. They are oxygen and carbon dioxide sensors. So in the main system, it provides oxygen and carbon dioxide sensor because the level of maintenance of carbon dioxide and oxygen should be a optimum level. So the oxygen should not be go up, or the carbon dioxide level should not go up, or both of them cannot go down. There should be a maintenance. There should be optimum level. The optimum level of both oxygen and carbon dioxide should be maintained. Then only we can get good growth and production of the microalgae which are growing in the photobioreactors. So, in order to maintain the level of oxygen and carbon dioxide in the main system, there are sensors. They sense the level of carbon dioxide and oxygen. So, when the prefixed carbon dioxide level goes up or goes down, the sensor will sense it and gives order to the other subsystem which we have seen already, from where the oxygen and the carbon dioxide will be supplied, or it will be removed from the culture system based on the sensors, carbon dioxide and oxygen sensor. The second subcomponent is temperature sensor. So there is a temperature sensor in the main system, that is in main photobioreactors. There is a temperature sensor because for any type of organism to be cultured in photobioreactors, there requires its own optimum level of temperature. There are some species of algae, their optimum temperature may be 26. There are some algae, they may require its optimum temperature as 27 or 28. But each species of algae has its own temperature requirement. So that temperature has to be maintained. That maintenance is done by the temperature sensor. So the temperature sensor, which is fixed in the main photobioreactors, will always be sensing the temperature. When the temperature goes up or comes down, it senses the temperature and gives order to the other subsystem. The subsystem will function, and if the temperature goes down, the heater which is fixed in the photobioreactor will start functioning, so that the temperature will be raised if the temperature start coming down. That is the function of temperature sensor. Then another subcomponents, that is pH sensor. So as we all know that the pH is one of the prime physical factors which control the growth of the microalgae. So if carbon dioxide during the respiration, they releases carbon dioxide. When the carbon dioxide is being accumulated in the culture system, the pH will be raised. So if the growth is happening, the carbon dioxide will be utilized. If the growth is less, then carbon dioxide will be accumulated. So that accumulation and the consumption of carbon dioxide will alter the level of the pH. So when the pH level alters, the pH sensor will immediately sense that and give order to the subsystem to bring acid or alcohol into this acid or alkali into this system, so that the pH will be maintained in the main system. Another subcomponent is light sensor. So here the light sensor plays a major role because we all know that light is one of the prime factors that determine the growth of the algae which are growing in the photobioreactors. The light, it needs light at a particular intensity and its particular duration. This intensity and duration varies among the species. So if you want to culture one type of species of algae, you have to provide a particular light intensity and particular duration of the light. So that the duration and intensity of the light varies based on the type of species that you are growing in that. So the light sensor will sense if the light intensity is, whether the light intensity is optimum or not. So that will sense the light all the times. Another type of subcomponent is conductivity sensor. So here that sense the conductivity. The conductivity is mainly measured in terms of the nutrient. So the nutrient which are given in the culture system will be sensed by the conductivity sensor. So the level of nutrient will be sensed by the conductivity sensor, or the water condition in which we are growing the microalgae will be sensed by the conductivity sensor. So based on this, it gives order to the sub components which are apart from the main components. Then accordingly the nutrient level and the water quality will be maintaining. And another subcomponent is recirculation pump. So the recirculation pump, it does two functions. One is mixing the culture, and another one is supplying of oxygen into all the areas. So that is also one of the functions of the recirculation pump. So when you are adding nutrient, or if the cells are stagnant in some place for some time, then all the cells never uniformly get its oxygen and carbon dioxide. So the recirculation pump plays a major role, which recirculate the culture within the system. So this is the recirculation, the function of the recirculation pump. Immediately after adding the nutrient, we have to increase the speed of the recirculation pump, so that the water, the media will be, the culture nutrient will be always getting quick mixes with the culture system, so that the entire algae which are growing in that system will be getting good quantity of oxygen and nutrient. This is the function of recirculation pump. And also this recirculation pump helps in another way. By doing this recirculation, it reduces the temperature and mix the temperature and keep the temperature constantly available throughout this system. So this is also another functions which is done by this recirculation pump, which is one of the subcomponents. And another type of subcomponent is harvest pump. So as we all know that, since it is a continuous culture system and it's a closed culture system, there is no batch inoculation and batch harvest. So here the continuous, the beginning inoculation, then intermittent harvest. So as and when you feel that the product is ready for the harvest, then we do the harvest. So the harvest pump plays a major role in doing the harvest then and there, as and when you require. So this is the function of the harvesting pump. So if you opened it, it releases the culture in controlled manner, so that if you want to harvest some fixed liters of water, that fixed the culture will be only be coming out. So this is a controlled harvest of the harvesting pump. And another subcomponent is carbon dioxide injection valve. We all know that the need of carbon dioxide in photobioreactors. So the carbon dioxide, it requires the carbon dioxide for its photosynthesis. So that we have to supply the carbon dioxide through the injection valve. So the injection valve may be fixed in the bottom of the culture system, closed culture system, that is photobioreactors. So the injection valve plays a major role in keeping the carbon dioxide level constant. So when the level of carbon dioxide increases or decreases, automatically the valve will open and close, and maintain the carbon dioxide level in the culture system. Another subcomponent in this photobioreactor is substrate pump. So the substrate pump is the one that supply the substrate, which means the nutrient. So the nutrient is the substrate here in this culture system, on which the algae, the phytoplanktons grow. So that is the substrate pump, which pumps the nutrient as and when the algae required, based on the requirement of the algae which are growing in photobioreactors. The another type of subcomponent is water inlet valve or purge valve. So these are all the valve which are automatically open and closed to maintain the water and to harvest the biomass. So this is the function of inlet valve and purge valve. Then the other subcomponents are connectors, then hoses. So the hoses which connect one panel with the other panel, or one panel of photobioreactors with another set of photobioreactors. So this is the function of connectors. Then hose is also used to connect two separate tubes. So this is the function of connectors and hoses. Then the oxygen release system. So the oxygen release system is also an automatically controlled system. Here when the oxygen during the photosynthesis, the oxygen is being stored in the photobioreactors. If the oxygen level is becoming high in that photobioreactors, then it it reduces the carbon dioxide to available to the cells, so that the oxygen should be maintained in a particular optimum level. So if the level of oxygen goes beyond its optimum level, automatically this release system, the valve release system will function as per we have fixed in the initial time of starting the culture. And another type of subcomponent is feeding tank. So the feeding tank is one where we mix the media with water. We call it as already we studied that it is not a stock culture, it is a running type of culture. So this type of nutrient, that is the required nutrient is mixed with the required quantity of water, where we make the feeding solution or the nutrient which can directly be applied on the culture system. So it is prepared in such a way to directly apply them into the culture system. So that is the place where the prepared nutrient, ready to use prepared media is stored. That is the place where that place is called feeding tank. Feeding tank is one from which the nutrient is supplied into the photobioreactors. Here we see the working of the photobioreactors. This picture shows the pictorial representation of the photobioreactors. Here we see that this is the place where all these parameters being get mixed. The water, there is one system that supply water. Here is one system that supply algal inoculum. Then the carbon dioxide supplying system. Then nutrient system. These are all this is the feeding vessel. We saw in the last subcomponents. Saw it as a last subcomponents, that is a feeding vessel. So the feeding system or the feeding vessel is one which gets water, algae and carbon dioxide from its subcomponents. After all this subcomponents are being supplied into this vessel, where they all get mixed, then it's supplied into the main photobioreactors. That is, it is a main photobioreactors. So these are all the subsystems. And here you can see the harvest or the processing of the product. So here it is, you are taking the product through this then it goes to the separator, then after separating the water, we get the algal slurry, then the algal biomass is pressed, then again, if it in one way it goes to the separator, then we get the slurry, or it will directly go to the centrifuge. The cells will be harvested in centrifuge separator. Also, the cells are harvested. Or if it is goes to we saw the different way of harvesting in the second class. So here, if it goes to the centrifuge, the cells are harvested. Then it goes to the press, where the water level is reduced. After pressing, we separate the product from it. We get apart from that, we get oil or biomass. So this is the product for getting this type of product, we are culturing the microalgae in photobioreactors. Here we see the advantages and disadvantages of the photobioreactors. First, we see the advantages. Higher productivity is its first advantage, because here already we saw that when comparing the growth of the microalgae in the open type of culture system is less than the same algae that we are growing in photobioreactors, because we saw its different factors that influence on the microalgae to give its maximum growth. So that the first advantage is higher productivity. By using this method, we can get higher productivity. So the cell production or the multiplication of the cell or the biomass harvest will be high when we are performing this type of culture. And the second advantage is photobioreactors offer maximum light, improves productivity. So we know that for supplying the light, for the mixing of the light and exposing the cells all the times towards the light, all are possible in photobioreactors. They are not available in the open type of culture system, because in the open type of culture system, there are some layers, there are the stratification of the light will be there. So the algae cells which are present in the upper layer will get maximum light, but the cells which are present in the bottom will get less intensity of less light, so that there will be a stratification of the obtainment of light. But here the mixing process will be perfectly going on in photobioreactors. This is the reason why this algae growing in the photobioreactor will be getting the maximum light, so that the productivity will be improved when we are growing the algal cells in photobioreactors. Then better control of gas transfer. So in the previous case, that is in the open culture system, there is no way for gas exchange. So sometimes we supply the normal air. We are not supplying carbon dioxide or any oxygen. But in this type of culture system, we can enhance the production by supplying the gases like carbon dioxide and oxygen. And another advantage is reduction in evaporation of growth rate. So already we saw that since it is a closed type of culture system, it reduces the reduction of evaporation. So there is no direct contact. It has no direct contact with the air, with the atmosphere, so that the evaporation level will be very minimum in this type of photobioreactors. More uniform temperature. There are so many subcomponents. They mixes the water all the time, so that there is a minimum possibility of the unmixing of the cultural media, so that there will be a uniform temperature. We can see throughout the culture system. And also another advantage is space saving. If you are performing the open culture system, we all know that we need many tons and tons capacity of rectangular tanks or circular tanks. So they need a huge place to keep them and maintaining the culture. But in this case of photobioreactors, it is very small. Even a small space is enough for performing this photobioreactor activities. And another advantage is reduced fouling. So you may be knowing that what is biofouling. So the biofouling is nothing but it is a falling of external organism into a new environment. So here the new environment is the culture of microalgae. Since when you are doing this microculture in open type of culture system, there is a possibility of atmosphere to having contact with the culture system, so that there is a positive way of falling the biofouling organisms like bacteria, fungi, or protozoans sometimes fall into this culture system. But here it has no direct contact with the atmosphere in the case of Portabia is concerned, so that it reduces the biofouling. So those type of organism falling from the external sources or from the environment will be minimized. And apart from the advantages, it has its own disadvantage also. Their cost is very high. Cost, we see the cost is culture, the cost of production is very high. So that this is the reason why the people or the technician or the people in the catcheries, catcheries of fin fish or shellfish, they are not preferring this type of culture system. So they will go only for the open type of culture system because the cost of the closed culture system is very high. But if the people who are aiming a precious product or commercially highly valuable product from the microalgae, like a pigment like astaxanthin and the oil and some type of antimicrobials. So these are all the highly valuable things which we can harvest from the microalgae. So if you are growing that microalgae for this commercially valuable, aiming the commercially valuable products, then only we have to go for preferring photobioreactors. Otherwise, it is a better way to go for open type of culture system. And another disadvantage is the technical difficulty in sterilizing these photobioreactors. So they are the tubular photobioreactors. Some are tubular photobioreactors. So there are some parallel tubes are there. Small circling tubes are there. So the inside the tube, the cleaning is very difficult. So when the open type of culture system, the tanks are rectangular tanks and open tanks. So that we can simply apply our hands even to clean the open type of culture system. But in the case of closed type of culture system, the entire system is closed. We cannot directly apply our hands or any instrument into the system directly, so that it will make the way of cleaning very difficult. It is also one of the disadvantages. Now we see the type of photobioreactor. So here the photobioreactors type or the type of closed type of culture system. One is tubular photobioreactors, another is plate photobioreactors, the third is Christmas tree photobioreactor, and another one is horizontal photobioreactor, and the fifth one is foil photobioreactors. Now we see them one by one. Here we see the tubular photobioreactors. Here you can see the tubes are arranged one below the other or one above the other in a horizontal way. The tubes are arranged, the circulating tubes. So here you see this is one tube, it connects with the next tube, it connects with the next tube. So this one is considered as one panel. It is this coiled, this collection of coiled tube of horizontal in manner are considered as one panel. So this is the next panel. This is the another panel. This is the another panel. So here you could see the four panels of coiled tubes. The four panels of tubes. So that's why they are called tubular photobioreactors. It is a tube-like vessel in which the algal culture is growing or it is circulating inside the tube. That's why it is called tubular photobioreactors. The tubular photoreactors are the bioreactors that comprise a number of tubes, consist of straight, coiled or looped transparent tubing. The tubes are oriented horizontally or vertically. In some cases, the tube may be arranged in vertical way. Here, it is arranged in a horizontal way. The tubes are oriented horizontally or vertically and are supplied from a central utilities installation with pump, sensor, nutrient and carbon dioxide. So these are all the subsystem. These are all the subsystem from where it gets all its support. Here we see the advantages and disadvantages of the tubular photobioreactors. So first we see the advantage. It has a large illumination surface area. Since it is a tubular one and it's a very small tube, so that the entire algal cells present in the tube will getting the light. So it has a large illumination area, a surface area. High productivity. So since all cells are getting its required light and its required nutrient and all its required optimum parameters, automatically the productivity will be, or the production or the growth of the algal cells will be very high. And it is suitable for the outdoor mass cultivation. So even you can use it as a outdoor mass cultivation. If you want to do culture in the place very far away, or whatever the even the remote area, even in remote area also we can perform this type of cultivation. Coming to the disadvantages of this tubular photobioreactor, the first disadvantage is photoinhibition is a common occurrence. Here the process of photoinhibition. Photoinhibition is nothing but one algae shades the other. So since the density of the algal cells are very high, the photoinhibition is very high here because one algae that shades the other algae. The light is coming from the external source. When the light fall onto one algal cells, the algal cells which are lying just below the algal cells which receive the light cannot get the light. So that is called the photoinhibition. So since this type of culture system, the density or the concentration of the algal cell is very high, there is a possibility of photoinhibition. Then the second disadvantage is difficult to control temperature. So here it is, since it is this system is a complicated one and they are externally controlled, it is very difficult to control temperature unless we keep the culture in a temperature controlled room. So unless we are keeping them in a temperature controlled room or in a air conditioned room, then only where you can maintain the temperature. Otherwise it is very difficult to maintain the temperature. So the light distribution is also not very effective because the first point we saw that there is a photo inhibition and also the cells which are most of the time present inside which are present in the surface of the tube will get maximum light, and the cells which are present in the middle of the tube most of the time they may not get a good quantity of light for its required growth. So this is also one of the disadvantages. Now we see the flat plate photobioreactors. It is in the previous one we saw the tubular photobioreactors. The tubes are arranged in different level, either in horizontal way or in vertical way. The tubes are arranged in coils. That's why we called that as a tubular photobioreactors. Here we call it as a flat plate photobioreactors. It is a flat plate. It's a plate like flat system. There is no tube is there. So the small rectangular tank like structure, but it's a rectangular tank. The height is there, but the breadth is very small. The breadth is very small. It is like some of you may have seen the radiator in your vehicles, four-wheeler radiator. You may have seen that radiator. It almost looks like a radiator. It almost looks like a radiator. One type of plate is here. Another plate, next plate is there. Next plate is here. So the plates are arranged one after the other. It's like a radiator in a automobile. It is a one way radiator. It is another radiator. It's another radiator. So the shape is almost like the radiator in the automobile, but it is transparent. It is transparent, but it is transparent one. Flat plate or flat panel photobioreactor comprise of transparent flat plates in which algae are cultivated. The panel or plates are made of transparent material for maximum utilization of solar light energy. So these are all the plates are made up of transparent material. So since these plates are made up of transparent material, the algae which are growing inside the panel will be getting the maximum light. Flat plate photobioreactors are very suitable for mass culture of algae. Here also there are advantages and disadvantages. First we see the advantages. Maximum utilization of the solar light has large illumination surface area. So here the surface area will be very high, so that the algae which are growing in this type of photobioreactors will get its maximum light. They have large illumination area. Oxygen accumulation is low. Here the oxygen accumulation is very low. If the oxygen accumulation is high, then the oxygen will become a toxic for the growth of the cell. So the accumulation of the oxygen is very minimum in this type of photobioreactors when compared with the other tubular type of photobioreactors. In the case of tubular photobioreactors, where the oxygen accumulation is very high, but it is very minimum in this. The oxygen accumulation is very minimum in this flat plate photobioreactor. Now we see the disadvantages. It is difficult to scale up. So if you want to increase the capacity of this type of photobioreactors, it is very difficult, because initially when it is made, all the panels are fixed. So adding the panels again and again is somewhat difficult. Difficult to control temperature. So here also, as we have seen in the previous tubular photobioreactors, here also the controlling temperature is very difficult. And now we see the Christmas tree photobioreactor. We call this type of tubular photobioreactors as Christmas tree photobioreactors. It is the shape looks like a Christmas tree. So some of you may have seen for Christmas tree. Some of you might have kept a photo of the Christmas tree during the Christmas festival. In your house, you may keep this Christmas tree. So the Christmas tree, the peculiar shape of the Christmas tree is, it is a shape of the coniferous tree. It is conical in shape. So that is the peculiar shape of the Christmas tree. Since this type of tubular photobioreactors, which is having the shape of coniferous tree or conical in shape, we call them as a Christmas tree photobioreactors. A photobioreactor which is built in a tampered geometry. So it is a, here you see, it's a tampered. So here the bottom, the area will be more, and it is tapering towards the top. So they are having the tapered geometry, and which carries a helically coiled. They are, here you can see the helically coiled. They are the helically one above the other. They are helically coiled attachment, tubular attachment. Here we see the advantages. They prevent biofouling, because it is a closed type of culture system, that is photobioreactors. It prevents biofouling. Ensure high final biomass. Here in this system you can get a good biomass of algae. The growth of the algae will be maximum in this type of photobioreactors. Then coming to the disadvantage of this type of culture system, that is high operational availability. So the operational cost or the operational availability will be very high in this case. It is also another disadvantage, is very difficult to clean, because by seeing its shape itself, we feel that it is very difficult to clean. It is also the difficulty in cleaning is also one of the disadvantages. Another type of photobioreactors available in the industry is airlift photobioreactors. We call this as a airlift photobioreactors because here the mixing is Mixing of the culture is done only by the air, which are pressurely given from the bottom. So the pressurized air is supplied in the bottom of this type of air lifting photobioreactor. That's why the culture system is lifted or mixed by the air which is being supplied from the bottom. That's why it is called air lift photobioreactors. So the airlift reactors have great potential for the industrial bioprocessing. That means in the industry, we have, in some industry, they releases flue gas. That flue gas, the gas which is coming through a chimney of an industry, that is called flue gas. The main components of the flue gas is carbon dioxide and some minerals. So the industries which releases the flue gas, they use it. They use this type of photobioreactors to reduce the carbon dioxide which is coming along with the flue gas. So the flue gases released by the factory is taken to a cylinder and it is compressed. The compressed carbon dioxide or the flue gases sent to the bottom of this airlift photobioreactors. So that once it is sent through the bottom of the photobioreactors, it lifts the water or it mixes the water which contains the microalgae. The culture contains the microalgae. So the gas or the flue gas containing the carbon dioxide will be utilized by the algae which are growing in the bioreactor, so that the level of the carbon dioxide in the flue gas will be reduced, so that the pollution created by the factory can be reduced in a particular level. So once growing field of application is the flue gas treatment using algae for the absorption of carbon dioxide. So this is the function of the airlift photobioreactors, which are mainly used in the factory where the flue gases are released out. Now we see the advantage. Improve the quality of the cultivation. So you can improve the quality of the cultivation. Then here the sterilization is very easy. The disadvantage is higher pressure is needed. So in the chimney, the pressure of the flue gas will be very less. So the flue gas will be collected in the cylinder. Then we apply pressure on that. Then only this gas can be given into the airlift photobioreactors. If the pressurized flue gas, when it is converted into pressurized flue gas, then only you can connect it with the photobioreactors where it lifts the culture or it mixes the culture in the photobioreactors. So here you can see some of the photobioreactors available in industries in globe. Here the chlorella culture in greenhouse bioreactor Beijing in China. So here you see these are all the tubes. These are the tubular photobioreactors which have been made in horizontal position. So just on it is also another type of commercial culture system, that is photobioreactors, tubular photobioreactors. It's a transparent tube. These are all the light sources. And it has a different controlling system or subsystem. It's another type of photobioreactors. Some of you might have seen that in our aquaculture laboratory. Outside the aquaculture laboratory, there are tanks like this are kept outside, which we are using for culturing the microalgae in the outdoor culture system. So this is also one of the examples of closed type of culture system, that is tree tank culture system. Since the shape of the tanks looks like a trunk of tree, that's why the trunk of tree, you can see this, it looks like a trunk of tree. That's why we call this type of culture system as a tree trunk culture system. You can see you can see different type of photobioreactor design. This is one type of photobioreactors. So this it's another type of tubular photobioreactors which have been arranged in the tubes have been arranged in this way to expose towards the maximum light. Here it's arranged in this way and this way, like it's a horizontal panel. It's a sliding tubes. So different shapes and different the shapes are more related to its function for observing or harvesting maximum light. So here we see the comparison of OPS and CPS, so that is an open pond system and a closed pond system. The pond consists of closed loop circulation channel in which mixing and circulations are provided by paddle wheel. As I mentioned it initially, in the raceway type of open tank culture system, where the mixing is happening by the paddle wheel aerator. The paddle wheel aerator are fixed in the type of tanks, where when the paddle wheel is moving, the circulation of the water is happening. Here in this type of open type of culture tank, the depth of the water will be 0.2 to 0.5 meter only, because if the depth will be more, then the algal cells never uniformly get the light. Even if you reduce the height of the open type of culture system, the cells which are laying on the bottom of the system, they never get a sufficient quantity of light. Then unwanted algal and microalgal growth will be there, as we have seen it already. It is also one of the disadvantages. Since it is an open type of culture system, there is a possibility of contaminant all the time to mix with the culture system, that create the culture to collapse in very short time. And the loss of water is due to evaporation. So the water loss will be there because it is an open local system. The lights will be always falling on this. There is a possibility of raising its temperature. So these are all the factors that influence for the quick evaporation of water. So these are all happening in open pond system. And coming to the closed type of photobioreactor system. So here all the systems are controlled. All the environmental factors, all the physiochemical parameters are controlled in this closed type of photobioreactor. Then the biological and physiological factors are also controlled. Then contamination level is very low. It is almost less. Then another disadvantage, if you say it is a disadvantage, that is high operating cost in CPS, that is controlled pond system, that is the closed pond system. Thank you. Thank you for patiently hearing my lecture. We will meet in the next class. Thank you, dear students.